Welcome. Today we're going to do something a little different than we usually do. We're going to share some personal stories on this subject of high blood pressure because we happen to have some personal experience with this one, and we've had some successes that we think may be of benefit to just share the stories, and maybe they apply to your life.
So why don't we start by you telling your initial encounter with high blood pressure?
Well, high blood pressure was my entry into knowing my own mortality in a certain sense. It had a huge impact on me in a lot of ways that overall have been really beneficial, but at the time were just scary. I was in my early 20s. I was very physically active, and I already cared about diet. I mean, after all, I'm your son. And I went into a weight training class, and they took my blood pressure before we started, and they didn't want me to be in the class, or they were afraid for my health. And so what did I do? I came to you, because you're my dad and you're a doctor. And we walked through all the things that have to be walked through, including medications if I was going to need to be on them. And then you shared with me what you know about stress and how if you can handle your stress well, you can lower your blood pressure. And so I listened. And we said, right here and now, we're going to try this one. I'm going to walk you through these techniques, and I'm going to leave the room, and you're going to practice them. And so that's what happened. You left, the lights were low, I laid there, not actually believing in it. I mean, wanting to believe in it, but it didn't feel real. And then you came back, and you took my blood pressure again, and it was lower. And now I knew. And then, because I had farther to go, we did it one more time. You left for another 45 minutes. And when you came back that second time, I was down to 120/80 or somewhere in that territory. And so right then, I knew this was real. It may not be the whole answer, but it was huge. It may not be easily implementable in my real day-to-day life where life can get stressful, but it was a reference point for me. And it was life-changing, and it has been ever since. So that's mine. And what is yours? What is your story?
It's a beloved relative of mine, and she gets periodic elevations in her blood pressure, and sometimes, certainly in her past, she would go on medications when she got these. But we walk through a very similar process. I guide her into a simple working with her own uncomfortable feelings. And, lo and behold, within a very short period of time, I can see it in her face. She changes, she turns the corner, and then I say to her, let's not take your blood pressure for a half hour, 45 minutes. And in an elderly person, it takes a little while longer for that adrenaline to be dismantled by the liver. And lo and behold, every time, you can see the relief in her face and how she feels, and that blood pressure is a lot lower. And we're going to talk to all of you a lot about this because it's such a wonderful life and health technique and blood pressure lowering technique when you get some information and tools and build those muscles on how to work with your own internal uncomfortable feelings.
And at least for me, on the surface of it at least, it's relatively easy. I mean, it's not rocket science. What you taught me, I could do that very day. Now, to get it right over time, to actually implement it, well, that's taken some work.
Yeah.
But in some senses, it's not. It's not that hard.
Exactly.
And it's life-changing.
It's like learning how to ride a bike.
Yeah.
A little tricky at first, but then once you got it, it's yours.
So I end a lot of these with thanking you. But this one, I could say from my heart, thank you.
Yeah.